get real and substantial 5-star reviews. The number one way for you to become a superhost and also for you to have really great 5-star reviews is going to be by having great communication. You have to have great communication with your guests to strive for that 100% response rate. Be polite and professional at all times. I always answer every single message with their name, stating what the issue is, and always signing my name at the end of the message. I want to make it personal as well. I want to make sure that they know that they're talking to someone real. So that's how I always answer every single message. I'm always very fast to respond. So the promptness of you, how you respond, it's also very important with the communication. So always being polite, always being professional, being fast, and automating your messages. There are messages that you will continue to send time and time and time again. So understand that there are third-party apps that they can send these really automated messages for you. Airbnb also has scheduled messages. But if you are able to incorporate these third-party apps, it's gonna make your life much easier. It's also gonna make you be able to scale much faster. So what are the messages that you can send in automation? Accepting a reservation, giving them the check-in instructions, sending them the welcome message, sending them the checkout instructions. And lastly, you can also send a message asking for a review. Now, the application that we use is called Hospitable. And Hospitable sends these auto messages, but they also are able to do an auto review. So unless I have a bad guest, I'm not gonna be writing that review. I'm gonna put it on auto review. But if I do have a bad guest or a situation that I wanna write about, I can always go in and actually write the review personally. And make sure you always sign off every message that you send with your name. That way your guest knows who they're speaking to directly. Be knowledgeable about the Airbnb questions, be knowledgeable about the Airbnb app, and also be knowledgeable about your listing questions. So the things that are happening in your home. If they don't know how to work the AC, make sure you're able to provide that answer. If they don't know when the garbage picks up, make sure you're able to provide that answer. If there's a quirkiness within your home, make sure you're able to state that within your description, but also you're able to understand and send that information over to your guests. Now, being knowledgeable about Airbnb questions, that could be about the app. For example, sometimes I have people that they don't know how to upload their government identification. I send them a link that they can follow instructions. I also send them information about, the payments. They say, oh, well, I would want to pay in two parts. We are not the ones that are in charge of payment processes. I'll let them know this. Here's a number that you can call so that you can talk to an Airbnb representative. If they want to cancel, I also send them over to the Airbnb support ambassador. So all of those things are great things to know and be knowledgeable about Airbnb app questions and also about your listing. And this is how you're going to have great communication with your guests and get those really 5-star reviews. The next thing will be asking for feedback and improvement. I always ask my guests if they saw something that I could improve to make sure that the next guest stay, it's more comfortable, it's a better experience. I send this message out after 2 to 3 days they have actually checked out. And the reason I sent that is because I prefer them to tell me directly than to write it into a review. The responsibility and definitions of the house rules. You have to know that you have to let them understand what are your expectations from it. So by you having great communication about the things that you will do and the things that you won't do, it's also gonna help you get those really great 5-star reviews. And how to address house issues. Well, if something happens, if there is maybe your AC is not working or the boiler went out, the way that you address these issues, it's gonna talk more about how you are as a host and as a person than it is for you to get that bad review. So make sure that you are able to save that review if there is any issues that happen by being prompt, being polite, being professional, asking them how it is that you can provide a better service. If there's an issue, if they're complaining about something, listen to them and actually understand where they're coming from. Do not be aggressive and do not put yourself in a position where you're like, hey, well, this is how it is. No. Acknowledge what they're feeling, acknowledge the situation, apologize about what's going on, and give them a fast solution about what you can do. So I'm not saying everybody's gonna be a great guest, but you have to make sure that you are always polite and professional when you are in this hospitality industry. You're in this hospitality industry because you care about your guests. And now, another thing that you have to understand is the co-hosting guidelines and communication. If you are co-hosting, make sure that you let the other co-hosts know who is going to be in charge of communication. That way you're not confusing the guest. That way the guest knows, hey, my direct contact is with Heidi, and they understand that if anything happens, I'm going to be the person to respond to their concerns and to any issues that they might be having. So make sure that you know what are those guidelines and the communication with your other co-hosting. Check it out. Another way to get great reviews, it's going to be by providing a forget basket. So depending on where you are, it's going to be different what things that you want to provide. But I've always gotten great reviews talking about how they found the forget basket so useful. I always provide toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, razors, shaving cream, wet wipes, tampons, pads. I've also provided batteries. I've also provided iPhone chargers or extra chargers. So those are things that I like to provide to every single property that I have. And I want to make sure that they're able to use those amenities and know that it is there for them. And every single time my guests respond with a great positive feedback on how happy they were that I was able to provide these things because they did forget something. And the fact that they were able to save a trip down to the drugstore was very good for them. And they were really happy about it. And that's why they're writing this great 5-star review for us.